Hello, this is the Bracelet One. This is a storyline reading as far as Miss Amelia Bissoon, if I'm saying it right, and her husband Joshua Ramsawmy, something like that. Okay, both of them are facing first-degree murder, but I later found out it's double murder or something like that, because her husband went and killed two people, Miss Cynthia Stack and her son Sean Stack, on July 18th while they slept, to cover up their bank fraud, authorities said. Now back then, the father of Miss Cynthia, Mr.James Stack, had suffered some kind of brain injury or whatever it was, and he asked the lady, Miss Amelia, to help him, I guess, as far as whatever it was, as far as his money that was in the bank, I guess, to just help him or whatever, because he couldn't think good or whatever, maybe anything like that. But she decided to take advantage of him and take his money and move it over in her son's account. And this is what started this ball rolling. Miss Cynthia, the daughter of Mr. Stack, went or checked some kind of way as far as money, and she noticed her father's money was missing. So she went to the bank to straighten it out. And then after that, she was going to go to the authorities or whatever. And Miss Amelia told her husband evidently about this, and he came up with a solution. And his solution was to go kill Miss Cynthia and her son also, because he was there, or he didn't want no problems out of him, because they didn't want to be found out. They didn't want to go to jail, you know. So that's what he decided to do. He was trying to get another young man to join in with him, but he didn't do it, and I'm so glad he didn't, that he stayed out of their mess. As far as his wife, in the interrogations you can look at on YouTube, she acting like she a little girl, naive, like she a little girl or teenager, like she knew nothing what was happening. She knew that her husband was going after Miss Cynthia and her son Sean. She knew that because some kind of way they did some kind of talking. And she knew her husband was capable and he was going to do it, because she didn't want to go to jail either. So she was all for this right here happening. But once she get questioned by the cops, she trying to act like she's so innocent. So as far as I think I read, she turned on her husband and decided to testify against him. So I don't care how much testifying against her husband she did. She needed to do as much time as possible, because she is part of it. She the one that started this ball rolling. If it wasn't for her stealing Mr. James' money, Mr. Stack's money, this wouldn't even be an issue. And why do people feel like they can just take from you and then kill you? Or kill your relative because they want to reach out and come after you about their money that you took. You did this person wrong. He deserves everything he get, and his wife do too. So I hope she don't see the light of day until she need to see the light of day. That mean out on the outside. Get what I'm saying? Now, I have deck 6 for this couple, and I have, deck 2 for this couple. Okay, let's just flow. Let's go with the top card. Camouflage wouldn't work, because she had a sixth sense that her husband was going to go and do what he was going to do. Okay, we got in the AM, some kind of way. At nighttime, he was at their house. Whatever time of the night he was at their house. Right? And it says right here, any deterrent that causes a dysfunction he needed to get away from, but he didn't. Right? Okay, was transporting of some kind of drug. He had drugs he is transporting. I think he is trying to give that other guy some drugs to do this for him, or whatever was going on. I don't know for sure. Or maybe he is taking drugs, whatever. Or some kind of way, right now in jail, one of them has an infection. Anything like that. Okay, inside the door of her mind, Miss Amelia, she is wondering if her husband even really cared about her. But universe was saying for him to put the brakes on it. Right? And also for her. But she was opinionized if her husband was work worthy. Now, work worthy with this storyline simply mean, would he do the job? Will he get the job done? Murder. Get what it's saying? He was going to go ahead and get the job done. Get what I'm saying? So they can begin what? Their life, right? Free of worry. But it says right here that talking will be the only way for her to heal. To spill everything it is, to spill and talk and invite in a healing. Okay, it says she likes style, her husband in her, and like having fun. But it says right here that Miss Cynthia and Sean Stack ended up in a funeral parlor. But if her husband was on any type of drugs, he needed to get treatment. She needed to be the best queen she could be by not going along with that, but she wasn't. Okay, he was on the speedway, and she was too at one point. Okay, it says she was gorgeous. Okay, it says right here she was living a plantation way of living, right? Not having enough for love, money, food, clothing, or love. Something was missing. Okay, must was money because they stealing somebody else's money. Life was falling apart for her and her husband, or her alone, both of them. Okay, flames were sparked, and she captured the flames from her husband, but flames were sparked, and Miss Cynthia and Sean Stack captured the flames of the gun. Get what I'm saying? Okay, she pinpointed a problem in Miss Cynthia, and she complained about that thing. Where's her father's money? Get what I'm saying? The story was flimsy that they was given at that bank. So Miss Cynthia was going to the law, was going to go against this bank and these people. So her husband decided that he was going to cause torment for Miss Cynthia and her son Sean. And that's what he did, honestly. But it says gradually a court date is coming up. So it came up already, or it's coming up. However it's flowing for either one of these people. Because thoughts were swirling in her mind or her husband's mind at the duplex, at their house, right? At that time period, or now in jail. Because he was slipping through loosely in their house to get to their bedroom. Get what I'm saying? Or on the road. Or it's happening in jail. That's what happened on their journey. Follow me? Because he wasn't going to postpone her husband an active action. And that is murdering Miss Cynthia and Sean Stack. But the judge is not going to postpone an active action. Follow me? It's not going to be postponed, and the judge going to not postpone an active action. And that means the court date coming, if it haven't already. And finally, Miss Stack, Cynthia and her son is in a safe and happy place, away from people like this. Lady trying to act like she innocent. We're not talking about a 6-year-old. My 10-year-old grandson know that's wrong. This lady is like whatever age she was. How old did they say she was? 35 or whatever age she was. She acting like she don't know right from wrong. Come on, miss. Tell that to the wolves. Tell that to the sheep. You know what you was doing, miss. You know every part of it, because you was the mastermind. Moving money over when you supposed to have been helping this poor man. You stole his money. Yeah, alright. Okay, it says right here, maybe you gay now, or maybe you was gay all the time, because it's a gay card. It don't really matter. So it says, can I feel my God mission? So you're a God person, but you on the other side of the track, and you got to get on the right side, miss. Can I feel my God mission being gay? Follow me? Is it going on now, or you was like that already, right? Do not wonder why. Somebody need not wonder why. They need to ask you, right? Maybe somebody in jail asking you, are you gay? Do you go that way? Or maybe your husband asked you. I don't know. See, you're a God person. Here you go again. This is the woman. You have to beam to express your spirituality and learn all the lessons needed, because you didn't know your lessons. You didn't know them because you did what you did. That's not a God way to be, to steal somebody's money and to be in cahoots with your husband going murdering somebody. That's not a God way. That's the devil's way. See, that's why God said you got to learn all your lessons and express your spirituality. and let go of destruction, because you was full of destruction. Holding on to a corrupt pain right now, though. It's time for you to begin what? To let go of destruction and learn your lessons and go ahead. Because you gorgeous and you was on the speedway, right? And it says that a warrant was coming for you and you went to jail, and that's so true. But also here we have your husband right here. You wanted him to change, and he went to jail because a warrant was coming, and he was on the speedway going to the Stack's house. He was going to go ahead and begin because he was holding on to a corrupt pain, because he knew that they was coming after him. But he needed to let go of destruction, and he needed to learn lessons also needed. And he might have been gay. One of you are. Let's just flow. Let's just flow. I feel it's you though, the lady. Let's just flow. Okay, we have right here. God said you must stay on your path, right? And find other ways to pleasure yourself in jail. Right? Okay, being different just means that you stand out. So you look different a little bit from whoever you're around in jail. Follow me? Or maybe people in a bank you work with, or whatever's going on. Here's an adorable card again. Maybe somebody in jail talking about how you look. They think you look cute or whatever. Here's another card. Gorgeous, adorable. Or you trying to make people think you like that, or whatever's going on here. You isolated for a coping mechanism because you in jail. Or you trying to be by yourself in jail, but it's hard to be like that, I guess. Living a plantation where living you was at the time. You and your husband struggling somewhat. You felt you were struggling, but you had jobs. But in jail, you really are. Follow me? Because in jail, you on a plantation. Pretty much in jail. Plantation where living. Get what I'm saying? You in jail. Jail is like the plantation. Get what I'm saying? Like you a slave, right? Okay, we have that Miss Cynthia Stack and her son Sean is in a safe and happy place. It was all about money. Look at this bottom card. But what would you do to save yourself? What you would do to save yourself is tell on your husband, go against your husband now. But back then, you was willing to go along with your husband and keep your mouth shut and let your husband go murder somebody over their own money. That's what you would do to save yourself. Okay, you did a preview about this thing. If they tell you going to jail, right? So you felt you was on a battlefield. Follow me? Or you on a battlefield in jail. Follow me? Okay, you felt like you was ruined at a point, right? So I guess y'all needed to do something. I have skills, I'm ruined here. That would be the bank. Get what I'm saying? You feel you had skills, you ruined here. You might was going to leave the bank, quit the bank. Something about that bank. Maybe you wasn't getting enough money. I don't know. Maybe somebody at the bank was trying to keep you there. Or maybe Miss Stack was trying to move her father's money from that bank or something. And you was trying to buy her and change her mind or anything like that. The next card is you didn't see the worth of Mr. Stack, Mr. James. You didn't see the worth of Miss Stack, Cynthia Stack, or her son Sean and their ambition. You just was looking at yourself, you and your husband. Okay, the next one is your story was flimsy, and Miss Cynthia saw that was a flimsy story you gave to where her father's money is. It was missing. So your husband went to cause torment to Miss Stack and her son Sean. He was slipping through loosely the highways or whatever to get to him and through their house. You got to see now that it's some backward ways of thinking. Maybe in jail. This stands for racist, and it stands for people not coming up to today's time. So maybe in jail, you dealing with somebody is a little racist in jail. Follow me? If it goes with you in the back then with the situation, it still could have been like that. You might have felt a certain kind of way as far as Miss Stack and her son because they was white and you whatever you are, anything like that. So you wanted to know what was inside the mind of your husband. Did he really even care about you? Maybe y'all was having marriage problems. Okay, maybe he was on some kind of drug or you was. Follow me? Someone is a genius and don't even know it. So either you was a genius Okay, it says right here, talking will be the only way for you to heal, to tell the truth and talk all this out and invite in their healing. Because God wants spiritual justice for Miss Cynthia Stack and Mr. Sean Stack. Because you and your husband murdered them, took their life away, diminished their lives. Like there's a bug on the floor. Now, the criminal justice system have you, but God wants justice. God wants justice. And God wants you to say that you was wrong. You shouldn't have did it. And everything else. Nobody want to hear a bunch of excuses from you, but that you shouldn't have did it. Want to hear that you shouldn't have did it. Don't say you're sorry because you meant to do it, but want to hear you say you shouldn't have did it. You shouldn't have went that direction. You was wrong. That's what you gotta go. That's what you gotta open your mouth and say with the healing. Get what it's saying, invite in the healing. Not moan and cry for yourself because you got caught. That's what happened on the journey, right, of you and your husband. It says right here that flames were sparked and you captured the flames. Maybe you and your husband was in a fuss. Or this could be for Miss Cynthia and Sean Stack. The gun was fired and flames were sparked from the bullets. Get what I'm saying? And they captured it, right? God wanted your husband, Joshua, his name, or Josh, whichever one is his name, to put the brakes on it. But also Miss Cynthia was putting the brakes on being at that bank, or you and your husband stealing from her father. You wanted to know if she was work worthy. Was she going to do it? I don't feel you wanted to know that. You knew she is going to do it. You knew she meant business, period. This your husband. You was wondering if your husband was work worthy. Would he really do it? Would he really go and do what he say? Because he decided he was going to go murder them and put a stop to them. You and your husband need to do some soul searching, right? But this is you, I feel. So it says right here that you're dealing with a biller goal. So this just goes with Miss Cynthia Stack was the biller. Get what I'm saying? Because her father, Mr. James, couldn't really handle his business good. So his daughter had to be in control here, Miss Cynthia. So Miss Cynthia was coming at you because nothing was wrong with her mind, and she was coming after you like a wolf, right? Like a lion. I love lions, like a lion, right? She was the biller. Where's her money? She's the biller. Where's my father's money? Right? Okay, here we go. Honestly. Because she, pinpointed at a problem. Her father's money was missing. And she complained about that thing to you. You thought that her father was like nobody was there to kind of back her father up and help her father out. You didn't think he was worth anything and he was worthy, right? Okay, it says right here, are your leaders your God? Whoever your leaders are, the cops, your pastor, whoever, right? You molded to some kind of religion, God says. I don't know what kind of religion you molded to, but your religion shouldn't teach you to steal. If you got a religion telling you you should steal, you might need to drop that religion because it ain't working for you. Okay? Looking at things clear because it say you letting off your sexual tendencies. So maybe you was having problems with your husband at the time too, trying to fix things with your husband, or this is in jail. You or your husband with that letting off sexual tendencies or somebody towards you. Here is an infection card. Maybe somebody for the disease to you, because we got this back to back sexual, follow me, or it could just be COVID, whatever it is, right? Or transporting a drug. Maybe your husband was transporting some kind of drugs, maybe you was, however it's flowing. Thoughts were swirling at the duplex at your house, maybe about transporting drugs, anything like that. Or This would be jail. Thoughts swirling in your mind at the jail. Somebody's letting off their sexual tendencies. You or somebody, your husband or somebody, and some kind of disease going to be spreaded. COVID or sexual. Take it however it goes. Okay, it says right here, the court date is gradually building up. It's coming if it haven't already for you or your husband. Neither one of you are innocent. Okay, it says you can, pill pushing effect. You or your husband was taking pills out here, in the real life out here or in jail, right? Look over your shoulders. You can get it anytime you want. You or your husband. Out here, in real life or in jail. Get what I'm saying? Because right here it said the transporting of a drug right there. So it says in the middle of, it don't have to be the middle of the night, but whatever time period it was when your husband went over to Miss Cynthia's house and did what he did. Any deterrent that causes a dysfunction he needed to get away from. But no, he went over to these people's house and got in some kind of way and murdered them while they were sleeping. He deserved everything he get in that jail. And how long they have him in there, he deserved every piece of it, of the time he gonna get. And God dealing with him spiritually too. It's time for him to get spiritual justice. Because he need to get spiritual justice. Because he got a cold heart. You got one, but he got an extra cold heart. Because he carried out and killed these people in their sleep. These people did nothing to this man. He took their lives away like they was a bug on the floor. He deserved everything he get. And God going to deal with him spiritually. So both of you get ready to get your spiritual justice on top of you serving your time. Okay. So it says right here that that's what happened. Or in the jail with you, any deterrent you need to stay away from in the AM. Any kind of problems. But yeah, that would go pretty much like I said with him. Because he went to them people's house whenever he went. They sleeping. I don't know how he got in. Okay, here's the animalistic card. But he wasn't fighting them because they was asleep. So I got to put it with him shooting a gun and murdering them is animalistic. Get what I'm saying? They were sleeping, but the act he did was animalistic. It was controlling. Right? He did this. And I got to put his name there. Joshua or Josh. Whatever his name. Ram something. I don't even want to say it wrong. You need to step into your queenship back then. But you didn't. You sit there and you didn't say anything. You just went along with everything. Because you had a chance at love to bring your husband closer. So you wanted to agree with everything your husband was saying. Look at it. But also in jail, you got a chance at love to love yourself or somebody in that jail you talking to or talking to you. Follow me? Next card is this right here. You was thinking a Philly way, having fun. You and your husband, you like to have fun, like to dress up. The card said, over here in jail, you like to have fun, or somebody you dealing with like to have fun, dress up. You can still do your God's mission if you like, God says, right? Because you suppose they did it out here when you was free. But you did all the things you did that stopped it, right? So now you where you at, can I still do my God's mission? You can still do your God's mission, what God actually wants you to do. Not what you want to do, but what God wants you to do. Can you still love me now you know? So if you writing letters to your husband or ex-husband or whatever he is, maybe you letting him know that you gay, or maybe you letting him know that you testifying against him. Something you doing because you saying, can you still love me now you know? That mean something then changed up. Telling them you gay, you telling them you testifying against them or whatever, or out here in real life. Can you still love me now you know? Because your first card is saying about the gay, the number one card. I can feel my God mission. See, we still talking about God mission. It's the female. Right? Follow me? So we have right here that, yeah. Next card is what? Next card is Your husband and you wasn't going to postpone an active action because you could have postponed it by calling the cops or anything to put a stop to that. You could have halted that. You could have put the brakes on that. You could have called the cops. You could have said, I'm going to call the cops if you don't. But you didn't. You went on with that thing because you didn't want to go to jail and you wanted that money. So you wasn't going to postpone an active action, and your husband definitely wasn't. But we got the law over here in the court system is not going to postpone an active action because this number one card up here is saying that gradually a court date is coming for you and your husband, whichever one of you or both of you. Okay, let's just see. Okay, here's the funeral parlor card. You put Mr. Sean and his mother, Miss Cynthia Stack, in a funeral parlor. Is when you don't treat the body like the jewel it is. But they treated their body like the jewel it was. Your husband decided not to treat their body like the jewels that their body was. Your husband treated them like they wasn't a jewel. Like they was my wash machine over there. If I kick it 50 times, it won't holler. Your husband treated them like they wasn't a jewel. Like they wasn't valuable. Your husband. And you are along with him because you didn't call the cops to put a stop to it, miss. I don't feel sorry for you. Whining like you're a little girl. You knew every detail of what that man was going to do. You know everything about it. Because you probably said stuff with him. If you move that money over, you got the brains. Don't act like you don't have the brains up in this equation. You got the brains, miss. Or you need to go in some kind of drug treatment, or your husband. One of y'all. Taking some kind of pills out or in jail, however it's flowing. Camouflage won't work because you try to make it seem like you don't know nothing, you innocent. You the brains in this outfit. You the brains. You the brains. You move that money over. You told him about the money in the first place. You the brains, miss. Don't act like you don't have no brains. Don't act like you're a silly dilly. You got the brains, miss. Miss Cynthia had a sixth sense. Her intuition told her something ain't right. Let me check my father's money. And evidently she checked her father's money or whatever she did, and something wasn't right. So it says right here that release your loved one. It's okay. This would be for Miss Cynthia, any relative of Miss Cynthia and Mr. Sean. So if Mr. James still alive, her father, her daughter, whoever they have as far as relatives, this card would be for them. You are still here. Enjoy your life. Yep. God is saying, right? Release your loved one. It's okay. It's done. It is settled. It is done. Because God is going to handle these people spiritually. The law have them this way, but God going to handle them spiritually. These people are going to pay. They are going to feel the wrath of what they did. Both of them. Because it didn't set in good when she was at the police station. She's sitting there talking and just talking, cool as a cucumber. Your husband had murdered 2 people, took their lives away, and you sitting there just as calm as a cucumber and acting like you had nothing to do with anything when you could have stopped it by calling the law at any time before he went out the door and sending a... She even could have got the phone number to that lady's house and told the lady, well, lock up your doors or whatever. There's ways you can do things, but no. You was looking out for yourself. You didn't want to go to jail. You wanted to keep Mr. James' money. You deserve everything you get, miss. And some. And some. Tell that to the sheep, somebody. I don't want to hear that. Acting like you so innocent. You're not innocent, miss. Okay, so this is for Miss Amelia and Joshua or Josh Ram. Let me try to say names right. What is the name? What is it? I'm trying to say your last name right. Ramsawmy. I think you was 35 at the time. Miss Amelia. I think you was... No, let me say it right. You was 25, I'm sorry, at the time, and your husband was 28. Worked at the bank. I see his verdict. What about her verdict? That's why I kept trying to find hers, but they wasn't showing hers. Let me see. Let me show a picture of, let me see. Here's Miss, okay. We got, let me show Miss Cynthia. Let me just show the pictures in case you, nobody knows who I'm talking about. Here we have Miss Cynthia and her son, Sean, who was murdered by these two culprits. Okay, this Miss Cynthia. Can you see her good? 'Cause when I do this, it's like, I don't know if you can see. Can you see Miss Cynthia and her son, Sean? Can you see her? Some kind of way. I try to make it when I had a phone. So this is Miss Cynthia and her son, Sean. Now we have these culprits right here. Where they at? Here they are. These two crooks. She looking like she's so innocent. Don't let that innocent face fool you. Don't let that face fool you. This lady was the brains in this operation. She set all this off. Set it off. She set this stuff off. Yeah. Okay, I said the date right. Yeah. So this is a storyline reading for those two. And God is getting ready to get God's spiritual justice.